So every day when I make these videos, it looks more and more like the SEC is just wrong on just about every single assertion and every single front and every single attempt they try to make, in this case versus Ripple. And in today's video, it's really no different. But we're going to take a quick look at what the SEC is claiming in their new report that shows that they're claiming that Ripple did have ample opportunity and ample notice that their sales of the XRP token could be misconstrued as illegal security sales. So we're going to talk about what they said and then how Ripple responded. And if you've been following Bitcoin in this crypto market for a while, you probably saw the price of Bitcoin that has been tanking. Well, several of the top analysts, top market analysts, and chart analysts are now saying that we're probably at a bottom. Well, there's a few things that are showing right now. Well, there's a few signs right now that shows that the crypto world, particularly Bitcoin, which drives the crypto world at this point, is about ready to melt some faces on its meteoric rise to over $300,000 by the end of the year. And with the price as low as it's been in a long time, Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, is going on yet another Bitcoin buying spree. I'm going to tell you how much money he's trying to raise and how much he actually received by selling bonds to raise money for this Bitcoin buy. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome to the Late Night Grind. And on this channel, right now I'm covering the SEC versus Ripple case because it's an extremely important case in the cryptocurrency world and financial world. I also cover other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. Also, if you're feeling really generous, I'd really appreciate it if you go ahead, click that thumbs up button or tap that thumbs up button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Basically tells YouTube to share this video with new audiences. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, well, let's jump into it. So we're going to start with the price of Bitcoin, which is right now at about 33 and change, and it's been climbing since it bounced off of its low-level support of 31,000. Now, some of the top market makers that I've been seeing over the last 8 to 12 hours have been saying that 30,000 seems to be that support level that to look and see if that Bitcoin price bounces off of. Well, earlier this morning it actually did. It's been climbing ever since. And according to some of the top analysts that are digging into what wallets are selling and what wallets are buying, it's looking like more and more institutional buying is being done at that $30,000 level because that's where they like to buy historically. Now, Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, who now owns over 92,000 Bitcoins, had just recently said he wanted to raise over $500 million through sales of bonds in order to raise more money to buy more Bitcoin. Now, he wanted to raise $500 million. Well, since he put up that offering, he's had over $1.6 billion worth of orders. So more than 3 times more than he actually wanted. People wanted in on this Bitcoin buy. Now that's just one of the many market indicators that point to a continued bull run for Bitcoin and the crypto world. Now Plan B, who is a Twitter user who put the stock to flow model and added it and adapted it to the crypto market. And if you're not familiar with that stock to flow model, it's basically where the scarcity of something, how much it increases in value due to the scarcity of smaller portions of Bitcoin entering the market. And of course, when you have the rest of the world printing fiat currencies at an astronomical pace, it makes inflation and the worry about inflation make things like other assets and digital assets and cryptocurrencies makes that price go even higher. So I've been watching a few technical analysts look at this Bitcoin chart with the stock to flow model. And right now we are dipping just out of the range of what that stock to flow model is. It's really just at the bottom range to where it could essentially be thought of as broken or not accurate. Well, Plan B actually just tweeted out earlier today that he said, well, it's that even where the price of Bitcoin is at right now, it's still considered accurate to him because there's been several times where the price for temporarily broke just below what his chart was saying is the low end, only to bounce right back up. Well, it hit 31,000 earlier and has bounced right back up since then. Now, he did go on to say that there's several times in that model, including the 2020 COVID and the 2019 bear market, where essentially the bottoms that dropped below what the chart said the price was going to be, but they were only temporary times. He said that can happen and still be considered an accurate model, but that model can't support several months of low numbers. Once that would happen, it would be considered a model that's not very accurate. Except it's been extremely accurate for the past 10 years. In fact, it's been spot on, and only a couple of times did it go above or below that trend line. So what does it say? Well, it says by the end of the year that Bitcoin could be worth $300,000. If you're holding any crypto whatsoever, it means you're going to be refreshing your Coinbase or your Binance account 3 times an hour. Unless you're Peter Schiff and you think this is going down to 12,000 and then 7,000 and then to 0. In case you don't know who Peter Schiff is, he doesn't like Bitcoin very much. He pretty much thinks it's worthless. But I guess he'll need to explain that that to all the South American countries that are now coordinating their efforts to make Bitcoin legal tender in many South American countries. I got another video coming out on that later. Okay, so now let's get into the SEC versus Ripple, because every single day there's some new news that comes out, there's a new motion that's filed, there's a new response that's filed, whether the SEC or Ripple. And recently the SEC has just been looking worse and worse and looking like they have egg on their face every single day. One of the more recent things was that they still haven't produced any of the documents that the judge ordered them to turn over, where the SEC and all the financial regulator agencies were supposed to turn over all the documents they had when they were talking about XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and their thoughts on whether or not they were securities. And to this date, they haven't turned on, and to this date, there haven't been any turned over yet. Ripple filed a motion to get them, to compel them to turn over those documents. The SEC asked for more time. This Friday is the deadline, and I have no idea on what the judge would do if they would actually get to that date and not turn anything out. But one of the more interesting things that I saw on Twitter was that recently the SEC submitted what they call a cornerstone report, which is essentially their defense, saying that Ripple's fair notice defense is invalid. Now, Ripple is basing the majority of their defense on this fair notice defense, saying the SEC did not give them any notice whatsoever over the past 8 years that they've been working together that the sale of XRP could be any kind of illegal security sale. So the SEC now tried to argue that, well, actually Ripple's had 70 indications or 70 notices that the sale of XRP could be a securities issue, because they claim that the 70 lawsuits that they brought against other cryptocurrency companies since 2017 should have served as fair notice to Ripple, which is absolutely absurd and absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, as a governmental agency, I can't believe that's one of their biggest defenses that they've actually had in this case. So Ripple responded that through something called a SIR reply, which is basically a short reply to new information. And they basically said, hold on, we looked through all those 70 cases that you put in your report, and not a single case was about alleged violations of the Section 5 registration requirement for the sale of a digital asset to go to an ICO, which of course Ripple never had an ICO. So all of this is just getting really, really convoluted, and there's a whole bunch of speculation now that I've seen on many other videos that a settlement is obviously closer than we have ever seen before, because of all these things that the SEC just does not have going in their favor. So I'm really looking forward to what the judge has to say in this case, and if it's going to be a win for Ripple, just like all the other 14 wins that the judge gave to Ripple during the rest of this case. So if you want to see all those developments, please make sure you're subscribed to this channel. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and if you want to know what other members of the Late Night Grind community are thinking about this case and think about the crypto world as a whole, don't forget to hit the community tab on this channel. I put up polls on there a couple of times a week just to get your thoughts on where you stand about investing in cryptocurrencies, as well as the Ripple versus SEC case. So once again, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.